Hey everyone, it's Kai from Cool Collectibles back again for another review. This time it's the Hot Toys MMS511 R2-D2 Deluxe version. Now I did pass on the original release from Hot Toys for R2, which I think came from the Force Awakens version. That didn't really come with too much, and I did have the Sideshow Deluxe version, so I passed on that one. But once they announced this Deluxe version, I guess with the number of accessories, particularly the layer holograms on the left there, I guess it was enough to push me over the line and decide to pre-order. And I did pre-order pretty late. In fact, I didn't pre-order at all. I waited until it came into stock here in Australia at Pop Culture, and I used $50 in pennies to get the $50 discount. And I know it only took me took a couple of days to arrive, so they shipped it out pretty quickly. And overall, I have to say that it is a definite improvement over the Sideshow Deluxe version, which I still have and I'll still keep. And I'll bring that out in a second to do a comparison. But just quickly go through the packaging. The same old Star Wars boring artwork with the black and grey. And I guess they're still going with this new tag thing around the box, which I think is a waste of time. But oh well, you get that. And the nice inside artwork there for R2, which has the light that you see from Empire Strikes Back. Now, I don't think the weathering is as bad as you see on the artwork. It's pretty clean, particularly compared to the Sideshow version, but I'll get to that shortly. Accessories wise, I do love these hologram versions of Princess Leia. Now, the original Sideshow Deluxe version had the hologram base, which I have inside my acrylic case. I'm not going to bother taking that out, but it did also have a layer hologram, but it wasn't anywhere near as detailed as this. It was actually pretty crap now that I compare it. I do think that these are a little bit large in size, and the base here that it comes with is certainly not movie accurate. The base that the Deluxe Sideshow version comes in, which is the little table that you see at Obi-Wan's little hut, is actually more movie accurate. But this thing, just like the Sideshow version, it does have a light up feature. I've got the batteries in there, and I'll just turn that on so you see the light there. Maybe I'll turn everything off. You can see that, and then you just put her on top and you get that sort of effect, which is pretty good. It would have been nice if it sort of lit up the top half a little bit better, particularly for this bent over version. Doesn't really light up too well from the top half, but overall looks pretty nice. It would have been nice if there was some sort of inset thing to lock it in place or something like that, or a magnet or something. But for what it is, it's not too bad. So I'll just turn that off, and that'll probably be the last time I use the electronics, because I always take out the batteries and I hate leaving them in there. But you got to see that. It comes with the little lamp that you saw on the artwork there, which I think I remember getting this in the same set as the Yoda set from Hot Toys. I'm just looking at that in the display cabinet. It doesn't have this long cable, so I guess that's something a bit different. And again, this has a light up feature, and if you just turn that on, you see that it lights up yellow like that, which isn't too bright, but I guess the lamp in Dagobah wasn't that bright either. And the detailing is pretty nice overall. You can connect this end up into one of the panels in, I think it's this one here. I think you need to use one of the magnets to open up all the panels. I might probably do that a bit later, but you plug it in there and you get that look, which I probably won't have it like that on the display. It does come with also, I might just get him out of the way. It also comes with their version of the restraining bolt. Now I do have the Sideshow version here. So this is the Sideshow version, which looks pretty much the same. Ooh. So they're both magnetized, as you can see. The paint application on the Hot Toys version is definitely a little bit more realistic. The Sideshow version does look a little bit over weathered and a bit rough, but you get the idea. just put it back on the Sideshow version there. Comes with the little thing for the Death Star plans, and I think you just sort of slot it underneath his eye there, so it doesn't go all the way in, I don't think, but you sort of shove it in there, and you can pose it with Princess Leia if you have the Princess Leia figure. I do have her, but I'm not going to be displaying her bending over putting that thing in, but you can do that if you wish. The details on it are pretty nice. The base, well, I guess it's not a base, it's the remote control really for the light up features and everything. So I've got the batteries in there, I might as well show you that now as well. I'll just turn that off. So you press the R for the light up features, I think. So that turns on the little eyes at the top and the front there. Then you press it again and you get the flashing light on the front and those lights, and then you get the pulsing lights at the back. Now I can't remember if Sideshow had that sort of pulsing as well. I think it may well have. And the batteries, inserting them into the dome was pretty straightforward. I do remember them being a little bit more difficult to do on the Sideshow version, but pretty much the same sort of effect that you get there, and then you press again to turn it off. Now I've stated before that I hate these electronic features and so on, but the sound effects on this are actually surprisingly satisfying when you press them. I can't remember exactly how many variants they have, but it goes through quite a lot that some of you might recognize and some you may not. So I'll just go through quickly. So that's as usual, that everyone should recognize. Similarly there. I don't know if anyone's keeping count of how many there are. I'm waiting for the scream. And there you go. I think that's the end of it. I think that goes around again. So there you go. I probably won't keep the batteries in the main unit, but yeah, as I was saying, it was surprisingly satisfying to go through all that, and it is pretty cool as a feature. The original Sideshow version did not have the sound effects, so this version, if you're into that, it's a nice little addition. Alright, the rest of the accessories are a whole bunch of things that are magnetized, etc., that you can attach to the figure, very much in the same sort of way as the old Sideshow Deluxe version. And I think there are some common accessories. So this is the Hot Toys version. I'm just trying to look through the Sideshow version. So the Sideshow version has a much smaller saw, spinning saw thing. Now the way they attach is also quite different. I think, well, this one here has just a peg, so I'm assuming there's a hole in R2 somewhere in one of the panels, but most of them actually come with magnets. The Sideshow version had the little poles that stick out through a couple of the panels, and you just insert that in the hole in the pole. But I think, as you can see, the Hot Toys version is larger and probably a little bit more detailed and more refined in the paint application. Also comes with the lightsaber, so the Hot Toys on the right and Sideshow on the left. Very similar sort of design. This one I think is the reuse of the one from, must be the Return of the Jedi Luke. This one, at least, it's got the completed top there. But as you can see, the Hot Toys versions are always better painted, a bit more metallic, and less sort of bleeding and paint defects and so on. So again, Hot Toys is an improvement there. Comes with the Sideshow version, this little thing here, which I'm assuming is, this is the equivalent, I'm not quite sure, something a bit similar to that, but you get the idea. This one's one of the magnetic ones. It comes with, the Sideshow version has the little hand claw thing, from the Hot Toys version. Sorry, they're all sticking together here. Hot Toys version again is larger and more detailed, so you get that sort of look. So it does look quite a bit nicer on the Hot Toys version. Comes with a whole bunch of, I don't know what that is. I don't know if the Hot Toys version has an equivalent. Maybe it's this thing. So the Hot Toys one again, a lot more detailed. There's also this from Sideshow. I'm not sure what that is and whether or not this thing is meant to be the equivalent, if I can focus. So you get the idea that the Hot Toys version is a little bit more detailed and refined. The Hot Toys version also comes with a couple of these sticky hand things or pointer things that I think you stick on the top, and they do have little articulatable pins there, so just be careful you don't snap anything. It also comes with this little rangefinder thing, which I think on the Sideshow version was actually built in. So you push down on the top panel and it sticks out. But this one you just open up, I think, and peg it in there. So again, with the spring thing there and just the metal, feels like metal, top bit there, it just looks quite a bit nicer. I think finally also got these couple of accessories. So I do like the detailing and paint application on that, and this one here looks quite nice as well. So you can deck R2 out with all the accessories sticking up out of him. I think it looks pretty stupid when you do that, but you get the idea. And I think to get everything open, you just I don't know, probably use one of them with the magnet. I think you just sort of do that, and there you go, he opens up. So he's got a panel there with a couple of holes that you can stick those things in. You can open that up. The Sideshow version also opened these up. And the Sideshow version I don't even think had detailing in there. I might open up everything, like you see there. Oop. It's a bit stronger on that. That doesn't look like it's really got anything. It's just a bit of internal detail, and I think you just stick it there like that. And I think the same thing on this side. So I think the only other panel that sticks out is this one, which was the plug for the lamp. I think that's pretty much it. I'm not sure if there's any sort of magnetic things on top here. You pretty much, I feel a magnet in there somewhere. So you can open up that one. I think that's where you can put these little, I think that's where you peg this guy in. And one of these panels I think you have to push in to do something, so I'll check out the instructions and work that out. But I'll just grab the Sideshow version and give you a quick side-by-side with all the panels open. Hold on. Alright, so here you have the new Hot Toys version on the left and the old Sideshow Deluxe version on the right. So you can see the Hot Toys version is probably standing slightly taller and a little bit slightly fat around the top. The biggest difference for me, of course, is the die-cast dome. That looks very nice in that sort of brushed aluminium look compared to the silver painted plastic dome on the Sideshow version. So side by side you can really tell a major difference, and that does look like a robot made of metal, whereas this one now in comparison doesn't look quite as nice, particularly with that seam that I think you can see on this side and on the other side, really showing that it's a plastic, molded plastic. And I think the blue on the new Hot Toys version is definitely, I'm not sure if it's movie accurate, but it's definitely a brighter, more deeper looking blue color that really does fit the character much better. As I was saying before, when you flip out these little blue strippy things, there's an internal detail there, whereas on the Sideshow version there's pretty much nothing in there. So I'm not even sure why they bothered opening that up. You can see the side panels have the internal silver detailing and the magnets for you to stick your stuff on the side panels there, whereas the Sideshow version, as I was saying before, has these vertical poles that you can just make out there, where you need to sort of articulate those poles out where they've got a little hole at the end, and you can then plug those accessories in. The little panel here that comes out, it's just got a little hole. I think you can put some stuff on there, similar to the Hot Toys version there, where you can plug the lamp. And then of course there's the panel there with those two holes, very similar to the Sideshow version there. But that's a comparison of all the panels. I guess the other comparison, these little wires there are probably the more A New Hope accurate sort of bronzy color, whereas the Hot Toys version is the dark color that's more appropriate for the Force Awakens version. But it doesn't really bother me too much. It would have been nice if it had the bronze color, but no big deal. The other difference, of course, you can see all the panel lining and the sort of dirt wash on the Sideshow version. It is a little heavy-handed, but I guess they were going for a very dirty look there, and the Hot Toys version is just a little bit more measured in its weathering. It's a bit, particularly on the dome, it does look a little bit more realistic. There's not too much weathering at all on the Sideshow version. Most of the weathering on the Sideshow version is in the yellow and the dirt all over his white body, whereas the Hot Toys version, it's you see it every now and then, and it's not as prominent, but I think it does look quite realistic regardless. Weight wise, just as I was moving in there, you can really feel a difference in the weight of the figures, of course due to the die-cast metal there. The Hot Toys version does feel a lot heavier, and the Sideshow version is a bit lighter. But as you can see, I've got mine all set up with the drinks tray and accessories from Return of the Jedi, so I'll have the Sideshow version displayed with the Sideshow's 3PO and the Return of the Jedi Luke, whereas this Hot Toys R2 will be with the rest of the Hot Toys A New Hope characters, which I'll post up some photos on the Facebook page and website soon, so hopefully you can hang out for those. But that's pretty much it for a comparison. I think overall, even on display, I always thought that I didn't really need another R2 figure, but I do think the Hot Toys version here is a definite step up in accuracy, step up in detail, and just presence on display. But I'll just put everything out and give you guys a little bit of a closer look at the figure. Alright, so here is a bit more of a closer look at some of the detailing. So as you can see, a bit of the sort of rust weathering there, which is quite nice. As I showed before, he's got that little panel there. I think one of these you push down and raise up his little camera thing there, which I think on the Sideshow version just had white on the windows there, or the lenses, so that is a bit more of a nicer detail. I think you just sort of push it back in like that. It does feel a little bit flimsy, so I'd be careful there. And then I think this, I can't remember which panel, this panel here, which is always a pain in the ass, which I'm not even going to bother trying. I think it's similar to the Sideshow version. You push that down somehow and slide it to the side, and it reveals the gap where you can store his lightsaber, which I would never store in there anyway, so I'm not even going to bother trying that. But other than that, that's the dome. These things I don't think are movable. That's a little bit weird. I think on the Sideshow version these were movable, so it would have been nice if that was movable. The dome, at least you can sort of spin around as you would expect. A bit more of the detail on the body there. These are quite nice. The Sideshow version, these panels on the side here, you could change them and swap them around so they face the other way to replicate that continuity error in the movie, but I don't think they're removable on this Hot Toys version, which I guess was a nice touch on the Sideshow version, but probably nothing that anyone ever really used. The legs do rotate. Oh, they're actually on ratchets. I didn't realize they were on ratchets. The Sideshow version just sort of swings around by friction, but just be careful with this thing and smacking into the body there. The wheel at the bottom, I haven't tried it yet. I think you just push on there and drag that down, and clip that in place like that, and then I think you can sort of just rotate that. So it works in a very similar sort of mechanism to the Hot Toy, the Sideshow version. And then I think you just rotate that and have him sitting forward as he was rolling. But that's pretty much it for R2. Overall, if you're looking for an R2 to add to your collection, and you're trying to decide on this version or the Sideshow Deluxe version, I would definitely recommend the Hot Toys version instead. It definitely has a nice bit of weight to it. The metal dome here is a very nice effect and does look a lot better than the painted silver on the Sideshow version. But that's pretty much it. I think I do have a few more things coming from Big Bad Toy Store and Sideshow and Pop Culture and so on over the next month or so. I was meant to have the Transformers Masterpiece Hound, but Nippon Yasen, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but they're pissing off a lot of collectors because they haven't shipped out, doesn't seem like they've shipped out anything since December or late December, so hopefully they get their act together and clear that all up soon. But until then, hopefully you can give this video a like and subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for all the upcoming reviews that I've got this year. So, but until then, thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.